to extend my apology to the honorable members of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, particularly its esteemed person, the Honorable Dan Fernandez, sir, and to all distinguished attendees present in this public hearing, to the former Director of CIDG and now the Chair on the Vice Chair on Committee on Public Order and Safety, Honorable from Jacob, sir. First and foremost, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to this honorable committee for extending an invitation to us for this hearing, affording us the opportunity to address the public and reaffirm our unwavering commitment in upholding the rule of law. We have undertaken investigation into the alleged incidents, and should evidence substantiate any wrongdoing by any PNP personnel, appropriate charges will be filed. Those involved will be held accountable for their actions to ensure that justice should prevail. Our dedication to maintaining discipline within our ranks remains resolute. While we recognize the importance of preserving the well-being of our officers as they serve the public, we unequivocally condemn any irregularities, misconduct, or breaches of discipline within the police service. The allegations of arbitrary detention, unlawful arrest, robbery, extortion, grave caution, and violation of RA 9745 and RA 7438 by the 4 female Chinese nationals against the members of Southern Police District Special Operation Unit of the NCRPO during the execution of the search warrant are a grave concern. We take these accusations seriously and are committed to a thorough and impartial investigation of the events in question. Our primary objective to rectify any injustices and to ensure that the principles of justice and fairness prevail in our law enforcement activities. We look forward to your guidance and collaboration as we collectively work toward a more just and secure society. That would be all, Mr. Chair, and maraming salamat po.
Thank you,
Chairman, sir, and the rest of the members of the committee. As we hear from our Chief Philippine National Police, with or without the directive of our cleansing effort from the Philippine National Police, and as the leader of a unit within the Philippine National Police, particularly NCRPO, I am duty bound to look after my personnel under my jurisdiction, leading to the discovery of irregularity that was committed or were committed by a unit within the national capital, that is particularly the District Special Operations Unit within the national capital, headed by, of course, a Lieutenant Colonel under the Southern Police District. Again, as police officers, we should be trustworthy, and we should always speak the truth, and that is aligned to the very focused directive of our Chief Philippine National Police, that is an integrity monitoring and with a high integrity of the Philippine National Police, leading to and or aligned to internal disciplinary mechanism effort. With that, sir, this incident that were investigated by the National Capital Region had been a subject also of an investigation right now by the Ombudsman. If I may continue, kung pwede bang i-discuss dito, sir?
Yes, Congressman. General Natate, so okay lang po. That was already settled by the decision of the Supreme Court. Ano, yung sub judice issue. And this committee, the Congress can discuss matter pertaining to the amendments or revision of certain laws that the Congress adopted. So basically, it has been debated for so many times, and we are allowed to discuss that matter. Before you proceed, General Tates, the chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Vice Chair Reynante Arrogancia. So siguro, Congressman, you wanted to ay, hindi. Sige, go ahead, General Tates.
Thank you.
So, ibig sa amin yung pinaka-story, what transpired to this issue. No?
Thank you, Your Honor. We investigated this case, and it entitled Irregularities in the Implementation of a Search Warrant involving the DSOU SPD on September 16, 2023 in Parañaque City, the very subject of this inquiry. And it will be presented in the following sequence. The brief synopsis up to the status of what we have done. To give you a background of the incident, I will first discuss the brief synopsis of the case. The subject of this inquiry is the irregularities committed in the implementation of the search warrant committed by DSOU SPD. The operation was conducted on September 16, 2023 at around 1 a.m. at Unit 1811, 18th floor, Solimare Park Suites, Tower D, Barangay Tambo, Parañaque City. The victims of these irregularities are the respondents or the person subject of the search warrant, Lin Xingji, aka Boss Lin, and Zhao Ji, aka Boss Ki, both Chinese nationals. 7 female and 9 Chinese nationals and 1 Filipina. The operating team was composed of the District Special Operations Unit and Women and Children Protection Desk of SPD Headquarters, together with Tambo Substation, SWAT, and TMRU of Parañaque City Police Station. Kindly click yung irregularities. When we investigated this, these were the conclusions by our investigators. There was planting of evidence, robbery, perjury, falsification of public documents, abuse in the service of search warrant, violation of domicile, obstruction of justice, violation of the directives and policies of police operational procedures. Next. And the operating units, as I have said, please click. With a total of, kindly go to a total of 43. Actually, these are the 43 are the personnel currently undergoing or subjected to pre-charge investigation, including 2 officers with the rank of 1 Brigadier General and 1 Police Colonel, a total of 45. Next. Next is the chronology of events. On September 15, 2023, the DSOU SPD through Major Jason Quijana filed an application for the issuance of a search warrant for alleged violation of Republic Act number 10591, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms and Regulations Act against respondents in Lin Xingyi and Xiaoji. The search warrant was issued by Honorable Jaime M. Guray, Executive Judge of RTC Parañaque City. On September 15, a pre-deployment briefing was conducted at SPD Conference Room. This was led by the Chief of the DSOU, Lieutenant Colonel Guevara, and was attended by personnel of DSOU together with personnel coming from WCPD, SPD, SWAT, MRU, and Tambo Substation of Parañaque City Police Station. Such that on September 16 at around 1 a.m., the search warrant was implemented. Upon entry in Unit 1811, the operating unit team deactivated the body-worn camera and cut the CCTV. While inside the unit, 2 firearms and 2 M16 magazines were planted. They also knocked and entered other rooms and units not specified in the search warrant and forced the occupants to transfer to Unit 1811. After the search, the seized evidence were inventoried. The inventory was conducted by Patrolman Elson Calupas and witnessed by Jimmy P. Howe, media representative from Remate, and Kagawad Darwin Morit of Barangay Tambok.
General Natades, before you proceed with your indulgence, do you have a copy of that presentation that will be given to the members? Because we don't have that copy yet. Do you have in your possession?
I have, I will ask. Ilang kopya?
Can you kindly give some members of the committee for us to be, of course, abreast of the chronological events? Meron po bang extra copy dyan?
The one I'm reading is isa lang.
The only copy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ay, yan, parang meron ba? Para papareproduce na natin. Sige, you can proceed. Go ahead.
In the inventory that they have conducted, only 4.6 million was declared or inventory. The 27 million pesos was not included in this inventory. In that very instance, they are conducting the inventory in that early morning of Saturday. Thereafter, the boxes not included in the inventory containing the money were brought out from Unit 1811 down to the basement and was loaded in the private vehicle of Major Jason Quijana. Police Staff Sergeant Mark Democrito and Police Staff Sergeant Danilo Dester checked in to Espacio Hotel on September 16, 2023 around 10 p.m. On September 18, around 9 a.m., I received information of the existence of 27 million and instructed the District Director, SPD, to submit a written report, signed written report. On September 19, the DSOU SPD submitted the first progress report indicating the 7 million, or after almost 3 days. This discrepancy prompted me to direct the Chief Regional Intelligence Division and the Chief Regional Investigation and Detective Management Division to conduct validation and investigation respectively to uncover the irregularities committed. On September 29, I approved the investigation report submitted by the RIMD, which recommended that the involved personnel be subjected to pre-charge investigation. A full-blown investigation was initiated upon my approval by the R7 or IDMD on the 44 personnel recommended for pre-charge investigation, such that on November 3, I approved, or 2 months after, I approved the pre-charge investigation report which found probable cause to formally charge 34 out of the 44 respondents, which included the District Director, SPD. The administrative cases filed against them was referred to the Disciplinary Law and Order section of the RPRMD and CRPO for the conduct of summary hearing proceedings. After the investigation, Police Colonel Charlie Cabradilla was found to have assisted in the commission of the offenses. Hence, he was also administratively charged. At present, the summary hearing proceedings is still ongoing against 35 formally charged personnel. And the request for presidential clearance for Police Brigadier General Mariano and Colonel Cabradilla was forwarded to the National Police Commission, Your Honor. And with that chronology of events, The following are my actions taken as the regional director upon the discovery of the discrepancies in the submitted report by the SPD. As shown, on September 19, upon discovery of the discrepancies in the reports of the SPD, I immediately directed the Chief Regional Intelligence Division and the Regional Investigation Detective Management Division to conduct validation and investigation respectively. Upon submission by the Chief RIDMD of the investigation report on September 29, 2023, the 43 involved personnel were relieved from their posts to make way for the conduct of a impartial investigation. 44 personnel were recommended to be subjected to pre-charge investigation, including the District Director, SPD, in order not to influence the investigation. I ordered 9 personnel to be placed under restrictive custody. Also, an offshoot of this incident, the District Director, SPD, was relieved from his position and reassigned to the office of the Chief PNP. Upon conclusion of the pre-charge investigation, I approved the recommendation that 35 personnel be formally charged and subjected to summary hearing proceedings. And of course, Your Honor, Your Honors, our Chief PNP being the regional director of the NCRPO, I'm duty bound to report what is the situation or what is happening in my AOR, and the esteemed Chief PNP is regularly being updated of my actions taken and the update of the case. Here are the results of the investigation conducted. Out of the 44 involved in the operation by the SPD, the SOU, 35 were recommended for summary hearing proceedings and 9 were administratively charged, were not administratively charged due to lack of probable cause. Police Colonel Charlie Cabladilla was likewise charged after he was found to have assisted in the commission of the offenses. One of the respondents, Police Master Sergeant Primitivo De Leon Jr., stated that on September 19, 2023, Police Lieutenant Colonel Guevara instructed him to report to Colonel Cabradilla. The latter made the second progress report at the DSOU office and was later signed by Colonel Guevara. We will now update you of the
Mr.
case
Chair?
status.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Vice Chair Ako.
may I know the position of Police Colonel Cabradilla during that point in time?
During that point in time, Colonel Cabradilla is the District Finance or Budget Officer, Your Honors, Southern Police District.
Did that answer your query?
Yes, and siya ang kinonsulta.
With the statement that we gathered, he was the one who typed on the computer himself. Nag-type doon sa computer and made the report.
That is the second progress report. We're talking about the second progress report that was si Colonel Colonel Cabradilla was involved.
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
second progress report.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go. Sige, go ahead, sir. Okay na yan sa answer niya? Sige, go ahead.
As to the status of the administrative cases, the 34 respondents are currently undergoing summary hearing dismissal proceedings, while the administrative disciplinary proceedings against General Mariano Cabradilla are pending, while awaiting for the issuance of presidential clearance as mandated under NAPOLCOM 2016-002. As regards the criminal case filed by the DSOU SPD against the Chinese nationals, the information was filed by Senior Romeo G. Bautista, the Port of Parañaque City on November 9, 2023, against Lin Shinju, aka Boslin, and Boski for violation of RA 10591. The RTC Branch 294 Parañaque City issued a subpoena duces tecum ad testificandum on December 21, 2023, directing the Chief RIDMD to appear and bring relevant documents on the case for violation of 10591. That ends my presentation, Your Honors, and on this note, I, as Regional Director of the NCRPO, assure the Honorable House as well as the public that we will support the cases filed by the 4 female Chinese nationals before the Ombudsman, and we will provide the necessary information, cooperation, and assistance they will need to attain justice and to hold these responsible for violation of their rights. Thank you, and mabuhay po tayo lahat.
Okay, thank you so much, General Nartates, for that presentation. At before we proceed, the chair would like to recognize Congressman Loreto Acharon from General Santos City. And with those alleged irregularities that was committed by the former members and officials of the SPD, we'll be asking the former head of the SPD to give their statements and the story behind about this issue. So, General Roderick Mariano, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for recognizing me. To our beloved Chief Philippine National Police, sir. To the honorable members of the House of Representatives, Your Honors, other source persons, senior officers of the PNP, and to the Filipino people, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. I thank the Honorable Committee for allowing us the opportunity to participate on this proceeding, and thus to shed light on the facts and the circumstances pertaining to the incident which transpired in the early morning of September 16, 2023 at Solimare Park Suites, Tambo, Parañaque City, and my subsequent actions. I came here with a clear conscience that I have not committed any wrong or omitted to the right expected of me in my capacity as a district director. With the assurance of my strong commitment to participate in this investigation in aid of legislation, I am here to answer the questions and queries of this honorable committee in accord with the virtues of honesty and integrity, with the end view that I may be able to clear things out and thresh out the facts to guide this honorable committee in the drafting of appropriate policies for the Philippine National Police. Sad to say, we are now facing an administrative investigation based on the fact that I'm the district director and the actions of my men were ipso facto attributed as mine also, just because I am the superior officer without a single evidence that I participated or tolerated the same. However, I understand that this part of the due process, and I am confident that in the end, the truth will prevail. I am one with the Philippine National Police in its unequivocal desire to cleanse the ranks from the irregularities. I strongly support the Chief Philippine National Police on his objective that all police operations should be honest and transparent. I commit to adhere to the program of the Regional Director and CRPO to weed out the Iskalawags in the police profession. To emphasize, Your Honors, the records will bear me out that upon knowing that the youths about me were not included in the report and the inventor evidence were made by the operating team, I made a specific instruction for them to declare it and to submit to the Honorable Court as evidence. As a background, Your Honors, the District Professional Unit, the SOU of Southern Police District, led by Police Lieutenant Colonel Jolet T. Guevara, together with this WCPD, SPD, SWAT, TMRU, and personnel from Tambo Substation 2, Parañaque Police Station, conducted a police operation on the implementation of search warrant number 235/2023, duly issued by Honorable Judge Jaime M. Gura, Executive Judge of the Regional Trial Court of Parañaque City on September 16, 2023, at about 1:20 a.m. at Galaxy Entertainment Incorporated, located inside Unit 1811, 18th floor, Tower D, Solimare Park Suites, Barangay Tambo, Parañaque City. The facts of operation, Your Honors, on September 15, search warrant with number 235/2023 for violation of RA 10591 against Ling Sheng Li alias Boss Lin or Lin Wei and Xiao Ji alias Boski was granted and issued by RTC Branch 260 Parañaque City. The said search warrant was implemented on September 15 at about 1 8:20 a.m. by personnel of the SOU. At Unit 1811, 18th floor, Solimares Park Suites, Barangay Baclaran, Parañaque City, which also serves as office of Galaxy Entertainment Incorporated, that resulted in the arrest of 10 Chinese national and 1 Filipina for violation of RA 10591 and RA 9208, and the rescue of 7 female Chinese national believed to be victim of trafficking. Prior to the conduct of search, the Chief SOU read and explained the contents of the search warrant to the occupant of the unit, particularly to Ms. Arlene Geronimo, who translated the content of the Chinese for the Chinese national. During the search, the 3 Filipino female, namely Liami M. Luber, Lishelda B. Morales, and Reni B. Disipulo, all identified themselves as members of the housekeeping, were interviewed and later gave their respective sworn affidavits as witnesses in their place of work, wherein the 7 Chinese female inside the unit were being sexually exploited to various foreign nationals. Further, during the investigation, another Filipino male occupant named Michael R. Novesio later gave his sworn affidavit as witness, introduced himself as the VIP escort of Lin Shengli, alias Boss Lin or Lin Wei, and Xiao Ji, alias Boski. He disclosed that the 7 Chinese female inside the condominium were for delivery or to be transported for escort services to different clients at a certain casino, in different casino in Pasay City and Parañaque City. He further discussed the scheme or modus in the prostitution activities of his employers, in which payment for sexual services ranging from 100 to 150,000. He added that the female rescued victim prostitutes were being enticed and recruited as receptionists under Galaxy Entertainment Incorporated. However, once they were recruited, they were forced to work as prostitutes where their respective passports were held by their recruiter or employer. This prompted the team to coordinate with the Women's and Children Protection of the Southern Police District relative to the handling and protocols of traffic rescued victims. Mr. Novesio further disclosed that the English-Chinese translator, Arlene Geronimo, has been serving as pimp. The following pieces of evidence were discovered and confiscated, with 2 units of laptops and 1 unit of cellular phone being used in looking for prospective client and for booking transaction of client. 3 pieces of radio-colored black with brand name Artaco and 1 piece radio charger used for immediate means of communication. 13 bracelets with engraved alphanumeric codes inside plastic box, worn by the victims as passes and tagging when delivered to client. Transaction containing booking transaction of female prostitutes. 1 bag color black was discovered containing different sexual paraphernalia, cash money amounting to 4,600,000 pesos, and 1 piece of heart envelope colored black. During the conduct of search, the team have discovered firearms being kept inside the open color brown safety vault, including an amount of money with the following details: 1 unit of .45 caliber pistol shooter Desert Storm without serial number, 1 piece of .45 caliber magazine, 5 pieces of .45 caliber live ammunitions, 1 unit of .45 caliber pistol Rock Island Armory without serial number, 3 pieces of .45 caliber magazines, and 16 pieces of .45 caliber live ammunition. Also recovered on top of the table inside the room were 2 pieces of M16 colored black magazines, 50 pieces of M16 rifle live ammunition, 1 rifle bag colored black, and 1 piece low carry pistol belt colored Desert Tomo. All 6 pieces of evidence were properly documented and marked by the seizing officers in the presence of the representative from the media and the elected barangay official, namely Jimmy P. Howe of Remati Ang, Jaro ng Masa, and Barangay Councilor Darwin Labay Morit of Barangay Tambo, Parañaque City. Also, there was an undetermined amount of cash money recovered and was later unaccounted by Police Staff Sergeant Mark Ginon Democrito, amounting to 27 million On the same date at around 4:30 p.m. on the presence of Police Major Jason Quijana, Assistant Chief DSOU, and Mr. Eric Jason Gru of Hato Jaryo Bayan, and was recorded by Patrolman Kyra Justin Causa using an alternative recording device held at the office of the Chief DSOU. The said money was immediately taken for safekeeping and secured when the investigation was conducted for the possible indictment of the suspects with a criminal violation under RA 9208, otherwise known as the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003, as amended by RA 10364, also known as the Expanded Anti-Trafficking Persons Act of 2012. According to the witness, Mr. Michael Nobesia, said money was intended for the salaries of the rescued victims engaged in alleged prostitution. After the conduct of search, recovery, inventory, and documentation of aforesaid firearms and other pieces of evidence in the presence of media representative, Mr. Ho and Barangay-elect official Barangay Councilor Morit, Lin Shen Li, Boss Lin, who was inside the condominium, was then put under arrest for violation of RA 10591 along with other 10 suspects for possible violation of RA 9208, while Xiao, Boss G alias Boski, was able to elude arrest and is still at large. That with the assistance of SPD, WCPD, all 7 rescued victims were interviewed for their identification, were all asked to present appropriate documents, i.e. passport or ID, or showing proof of their stay in the Philippines, but they failed to show what is being asked for. Afterwards, they were subjected to physical medical examination at Pasay City General Hospital, Pasay City, as part of the procedure. All firearms and ammunitions and magazines seized during the implementation of search warrant were duly turned over to SPD Field Unit, Forensic Unit, Camp Bagundiwa, Bikutan, Taguig City for ballistic examination. Aside from the firearms, all of the above indicated pieces of seized evidence remain in custody of DSOU SPD. Firearms verification report dated September 16 and 17 showed that Lin Sheng Ji, occupant of Unit 1811, 18th floor, Solimare Park Suite, Tower D, Barangay Baclaran, Parañaque, has no license to possess firearm and non-licensed registered firearm holder of any caliber. Further verification of PNP warrant and EROG showed that all arrested suspects and rescued victims have no record nor have applied for national police clearance. On September 18, 2023, the suspects were subjected for inquest proceedings for violation of RA 10591 and 9208 before Honorable Leonardo Rodriguez Jr., Deputy City Prosecutor with docket number XB12 INQ 2310878. After the inquest, the suspects were temporarily detained at Tambo Police Station, Parañaque City Police Station, custodial facility while waiting for the commitment order of the order. On September 20, the female Chinese rescued victims were under protective custody of the state, were temporarily sheltered at Tambo Substation, Parañaque City Police Station, while further verification is still being conducted before the Bureau of Immigration and the Chinese Embassy Manila, as well as the police attaché of the Chinese Embassy. On the other hand, Police Brigadier General Semelencio Sinartates Jr., then now Police Major General, directed the SP, me to coordinate with the Bureau of Immigration, the police attaché of the China Embassy to secure proof of identity of the victims and suspects where they have derogatory records on file. As action taken to the instruction, a coordination was made with the Chinese Embassy on September 20, addressed to the ambassador through Councilor Chen Xiao. Police attaché sent to their given email address, requesting for their assistance to aid us in the verification of the latter's identities for proper disposition, which was later confirmed by Mr. Sheng Su, Deputy Police Attaché, that indeed they received the email. A hard copy of the letter from the District Director SPD addressed to the Ambassador of China Embassy through Councilor Tia was received by Mr. Pawi Lintog at around 4:53 p.m. Meanwhile, on the same date, at around 3:40 p.m., a letter request was sent to Commissioner Attorney Norman G. Tangcinco of the Bureau of Immigration through Fortunato S. Manahan Jr., the Chief Intel Division, regarding for the verification of the true identity of the suspects and the rescued victims. On September 21, Mr. Fortunato S. Manahan Jr., Chief Intel Division of the Bureau of Immigration, sent his reply stating therein that based on the verification on the submitted names of the suspects and victims, it resulted in the multiple dates of birth, and none of them match the dates of birth submitted their office. Consequently, the Bureau of Immigration requested through a letter reply requesting for the viability of other pertinent documents relative to the case, including the complete and correct names, dates of birth, gender, copies of passports, bio page or passport number, identification cards, and other relevant documents that may aid their agency in determining the identity of the suspects and victims and to further determine if they have derogatory records in the Bureau. In response to the request of the immigration, we submitted all the information that are needed with regards to the request. On September 23, at around 9:50 a.m., personnel from DSOU returned the warrant and submitted the same before the Office of Judge M. Guray, Regional Trial Court Branch 260, Hall of Justice, Parañaque City. Furthermore, on September 26, this office sought the assistance of the Interagency Council Against Trafficking or IACAT through a letter sent to Mr. Ramon Yap, Chief IACAT Department of Justice Operations Center, requesting for the temporary custody of the rescued female Chinese nationals victims. Then on September 27, around 2023 at around 2:23 p.m., Captain Esperanza Rioa, the Chief WCPD SPD, received a text message from Mr. John Jelly of IACAT informing Captain Rioa that meron na silang kausap na social worker at yung sa DOJ po ay pwede na pong medyo busy daw po, kaya ngayon lang po naka-update. Salamat po. Aside from the letter sent to IACAT, a letter request was also sent to the Office of the DSWD NCR, addressed to Attorney Michael Joseph Lorico, Acting Regional Director, DSW NCR, but yielded no response from said agency. Conversely, on the same date, around 2:21 p.m., Mr. Sheng Shu, Deputy Police Attaché of the China Embassy, Manila, advised the office to a Viber message that we need to send a letter request to Counselor and Consul General Wang Yue of the China Embassy for the verification of other information acquired from the victims, such as their passport number or citizen ID number, and to determine if they have derogatory records in their country, as their office can only do facial recognition. On September 27, the private lawyer of Han Ying, one of the Chinese nationals, sent a picture of the Chinese citizen's ID and later to the SOU, which was also forwarded to the consulate section of the Chinese Embassy for verification. While patiently waiting for the response of the DSWD and the Bureau of Immigration, several follow-ups were made by this office, but still yielded a negative response. On September 28, 2023, a follow-up letters were sent to Attorney Norman Tansinko of the Bureau of Immigration and to the Acting Regional Director of DSWD, Attorney Michael Joseph Lorico. On the same date, Ms. Geraldine Padernal of the IACAT DOJ Operations Center, Mandaluyong, called up Captain Roya, requesting for an informal case conference to be attended by the BALCPD and DSOU personnel of SPD, which aimed to discuss the necessary requirements to be undertaken by both agencies for the immediate turnover of the Chinese national to the embassy. At around 2:20 p.m. of the same date, Police Major Jason Quijana, Assistant Chief DSOU, together with the investigators and representative from SPD, WSPD, attended the case conference. As a result of the informal meeting, it yielded to the decision of the IACAT DOJ to only assist our personnel in the turnover of custody of the rescued victims to the Chinese embassy for their disposition, since there was no submitted affidavits from the victim. Further, the morning of September 29, Police Major Quijana, the IOCs, and Ms. Geraldine Padernal of IACAT DOJ Operations Center, Mandaluyong, proceeded to the Chinese embassy for the possible turnover of the live physical body of the rescued victims for their disposition. However, the duty security guard of the embassy informed the group that the embassy is on holiday and will resume its operation on October 5, hence no turnover occurred on that day. At about 1 p.m. of the same date, the arresting officers attended the preliminary investigation held at the prosecutor's office in Parañaque City, wherein Honorable Leonardo Rodriguez Jr., Deputy City Prosecutor, advised the team to make a move for the release of the victims. It must be coordinated to IACAT DOJ Manila. The prosecutor further reset the scheduled preliminary investigation on September 29 to its new schedule of October 4, 1 p.m. at the same venue, as the other party has changed their counsel and the merit of the case was not yet read by the lawyers. On September 30, 2023 at around 5:20 p.m., 5 female Chinese national rescued victims were turned over to the custody of their respective lawyers. Han Yingying was formally turned over to attorney Charmaine C. Ibanez, the counsel, after she presented certificates from the Bureau of Immigration stating that Han Yingying does not appear in the Bureau's whole departure, blacklist, watchlist, and or derogatory records. Same true with Dang Lina, alias Miao Jing, Hu Ji Ling Langping, and Li Wanwan, who were also turned over to attorney Iris Silver Bonifacio after they signed an affidavit of undertaking under their custody prepared by the legal office of SPD, stating therein that they will bring their respective clients if summoned to appear before any competent agencies and courts of the Philippines when needed. The release of the victims were facilitated by the DSOU personnel and assisted by the NAPCO lawyers, Police Captain Marvin Caliti Bertihar and Police Captain Abraham Arbilesca. On October 1, this office received the reply letter of Ayakat, TIP Center, Field Office, and CR dated September 29, handed over by Police Master Sergeant Rona May Adohinog from SPD informing that they cannot accommodate or accept the request of SPD on the temporary custody of the victims due to the reason that the victims did not execute any statement or affidavit that indeed they are survived victim of trafficking. Another turnover of victim occurred on October 2 at around 9 p.m. assisted by a counsel, Si Liu. A rescued female Chinese national was turned over to the custody of his counsel, Attorney Glenn Cabanes, by duty DSOU personnel, assisted by the NAPCO lawyer. After presenting the needed documents prior to release and signing of the corresponding affidavits. And the last victim, Ji Meidong alias Sue, was turned over to the custody of her counsel, Attorney Ricky Gerald D. Breva, on October 3 at 6:10 p.m. by the members of the DSOU duty personnel assisted by the NAPCO lawyer. The same procedure was done prior to her release and was agreed by both parties. In the morning of October 4, 2023, the arrested suspects were transferred to the custodial facilities of Parañaque City Police Station from Tambo Police Station upon request and recommendation of the OIC. Commander, Police Lieutenant Colonel Ray Etado, Deputy Chief of Police for Operation said station. On the same date at around 1 p.m., former DSOU personnel led by Police Chief Master Sergeant Amante Garcia together with IOC attended the preliminary investigation before the Office of the Honorable City Prosecutor Parañaque City. During the preliminary investigation, Honorable Leonardo Rodriguez Jr., Deputy City Prosecutor, directed the team to submit the reply to the counter affidavit submitted by the other party. Another preliminary investigation was set by the prosecutor on October 11, 2023, 1 p.m. the same day. On October 11, around 1 p.m., former DSOU personnel led by Police Chief Master Sergeant Garcia, together with the IOC, attended the preliminary investigation at the office of the Honorable Leonardo Rodriguez Jr., Deputy City Prosecutor. During the minutes of the investigation, Honorable Rodriguez Jr. advised the team to submit a letter request to the Anti-Money Laundering Council, AMLAC, for the conduct of financial investigation regarding the cash money amounting to 31,600,000 pesos seized from the respondent Li Shengli alias Bones Lin et al. During the implementation of search warrant, the prosecutor then scheduled the preliminary investigation for rejoinder of both parties on October 16, 2023. On October 16, 2023, at around 9:57 a.m., the DSOU team led by PCMS Garcia and Police Staff Sergeant Ruiz delivered the letter addressed to Attorney Matthew M. David, Executive Director, Anti-Money Laundering Council Secretariat, requesting for the conduct of financial investigations against the suspects, Ling Shengji and Xiaoji Ashboski and Boss Lin, respectively. This action was done upon recommendation and advice of the prosecutor, Rodriguez Jr. The letter was formally received by Mr. John Carlos R. Orias, AMLAC Secretariat. On the same date at around 1 p.m., the former DSOU team led by Police Chief Master Sergeant Garcia, together with the Master Sergeant De Leon, Staff Sergeant Ruiz, and the arresting officers attended the preliminary investigation for rejoinder held at the office of Honorable Rodriguez Jr. During the proceedings, the team submitted its action taken, letter request of AMLAC through the recommendation and advice of Prosecutor Rodriguez Jr. and was later advised to wait for the resolution of the case. For the actions taken, Your Honors, upon assumption of office, I emphasized in all my meetings, conferences, and interactions with the members of the Southern Police District the need to constantly adhere to the 5 focus agenda, particularly on the area of aggressive and honest police operations and on the area of integrity monitoring. I consistently conducted inspections and visitations to all police units under my command, advocating adherence to the 5-point agenda of the Chief PLP, Philippine National Police, and the 7-point guidelines of the Regional Director and CRPO, emphasizing that all police operations should be done in honest to goodness operation with transparency in accordance with the police operational procedures. I have launched the community-based program Kasama Ko sa Kali Si Kuya, a police project which anchored ensuring transparency, respect, dependability, reliability of all members of the Southern Police District. I also have initiated series of ugnayan activities in all areas of the jurisdiction of my unit to emphasize the importance of transparency of all police operations with assurance to the community that Southern Police District ensures propriety of all police operations. Under my command and the direction, the acting Deputy District Director of Operations issued a memorandum with subject reiteration on the intensification of operations against all forms of illegal gambling and implementation of one strike and no take policy dated August 4, 2023. This is to operationalize my specific instruction to ensure that our police units on the ground abhor irregularities, especially in the conduct of police operations. In relation to the police operation, the undersigned, after attending the command conference at Camp Crame on September 15, 2023 at around 5:50 p.m., I received a call from the Chief DSOU through my security officer informing about the conduct of operation regarding the implementation of search warrant at Parañaque City. Upon hearing the said information, I immediately directed my security officer to call back the Chief of DSOU, and around 5:52 p.m. I gave direct instruction to Chief DSOU to conduct the search in accord with the police operational procedures and ensure the presence of body-worn cameras and the required witnesses. At around 11:39 p.m., I sent a message to Chief DSOU asking for any update of their operation, and they replied that they are waiting for the subject of the search warrant to enter the area. After that message, no update was received by me from the Chief DSOU. And on September 16, the Chief DSOU already informed me of the just concluded operation and will submit a report. At around 7:15, sent a draft Viber SMS sketch report without attached pictures pertaining to the implementation of search warrant. And at about 7:47, he sent another draft SMS sketch report where I directed him to review and finalize the same. Around 9:30 a.m. the same date, the Chief DSOU sent the pictures taken from the operations through Viber, and around 9:32 he sent the corrected SMS sketch report with pictures. And the same report was also forwarded and relayed to our regional director at around 10:36 a.m. And he even made a call to me on the same day around 11:04 a.m. that lasted for 3 minutes and 50 seconds. When police, the Chief DSOU reported to me in between 10:30 to 11 of September 16, disclosed that they have discovered and safe kept an undetermined amount of money, which was, according to him, it was not included in the inventory of the seized evidence. The undersigned directly asked what is the connection of the money to the operation. I strongly stated for him to declare the undetermined amount of money as part of the evidence and submit the necessary report. This new information was also reported and relayed to our regional director, who instructed me that said operation must be presented to the media through a press release, which I also immediately acted upon and directed the Chief DSOU to do the press release as instructed after the inquest proceeding. Additionally, my Chief DSOU also requested for additional investigator to aid them in the conduct of investigation. Immediately, I directed the OIC DIDMD to provide investigators to assist the IOC of TSOU. Likewise, investigators from WCPD and Chinese interpreter were also referred to assist them per the request of the Chief DSOU. At about 11:04 the same date, the investigators and the Chinese national to be acted as interpreter arrived and was ferried to the DSOU office. On the same day, around 1:57, there were already calls from other persons asking for the status of the suspects, especially those subject of search warrant, while the investigation is ongoing. There was another call at around 11 p.m. for those for the facilitation of the release of the said person, which I strongly decline since the suspect is the subject of the SW. It's clear violation of the POP, policies of the PNP, and other pertinent laws. I told that the money is part of the evidence and will be presented in court during the trial. On September 17, I sent a message to Chief DSOU requesting for a meeting because of the belated report submitted to me. There's still no report of the undetermined amount of money. And I also directed or requested Police Colonel Cabradilla to help the SOU on the said report since they came from the same unit prior to their assignment with SPD. On September 18, 2023, at around 1:17 p.m., a hard copy of the belated first progress report was submitted by the SOU to SPD TOC. As an SMS, first progress report was forwarded and relayed to our regional director by me at around 3:06 p.m. Likewise, on September 19, a consolidated report was submitted to the acting regional director at around 10:01 p.m. along with the second progress report duly signed by the district director, Southern Police District. On September 19, the ABS-CBN TV patrol anchored by Mr. Karen Davila and the TV5 News Frontline Pilipinas anchored by Julius Babao aired the operation conducted by DSOU SPD. On September 16, through a media interview with Police Colonel Jolet Guevara, Chief DSOU, at DSOU office supported by ABS-CBN reporter Ms. Karen De Guzman and TV5 reporter Dave Abuel. In that both press release, the seized amount of money was clearly declared by the DSOU SPD chief after my immediate instructions to him on the day he disclosed to me the said undetermined cash of money as part of the evidences. I also told or texted the chief DSOU and informed him to supervise properly subordinates. I even cautioned him to always give feedback on the instructions given to him and to the team after they failed to follow the simple instructions to deliver soon the possible letter request to the Bureau of Immigration to include also the timely submission of the reports to higher headquarters. On the same date, the letter request of the Bureau of Immigration was delivered by personnel from DSOU and was received by said agency at around 3 p.m. While the letter request to the Chinese Embassy was sent through the email of around 3:58 p.m. and the hard copy was delivered by Police Chief Master Sergeant Amante Garcia and Police Staff Sergeant Genesis Ruiz at around 3:43. Each letter is requesting for the conduct of verification of the true identities of and further custody of the suspects and victims. The OIC DMD7 submitted their investigation report and the implementation of search warrant issued by the executive judge, Jaime M. Gura, with SW number 235-2023 by DSOE to DDSPD, which was also forwarded to RID R7 of NCRP on September 24 around 7 p.m. On September 25 at around 8 a.m. initiated with the acting district director for operations and city district for the conduct of the initial inquiry to all personnel involved in the operation held at SPD conference room. Also, I instructed the IOCs to make coordination before the office of the DSWD on September 26, 2023, purposely to seek for the assistance, particularly for the temporary shelter and custody of the victims. Based on the result of the inquiry on September 27, Police Major Jerry Amindalan, OIC DIDMD, conducted a pre-charge evaluation and directed all PCOs and PNCOs involved in the operation to submit their respective explanation, stating their individual participation in order to shed light to some issues as part of the procedure upon. Instantly, on September 27, Police Lieutenant Colonel Guevara was administratively relieved from his assignment, followed by the relief of other members of the operating unit and other involved personnel in the operation September 28 and 29, respectively. After it was found out that there were unfolded initial irregularities in the conduct of operation to pave way to an impartial and honest-to-goodness investigation to determine if there are administrative or criminal liability committed by them in the implementation of search warrant. On September 30, I directed the creation of the SPD investigating team headed by Police Colonel Simbahon, the acting Deputy District Director of Operations, to uncover any lapses of the operation if there is. Simultaneously, all personnel involved in the operation were made to surrender the respective issued firearms to SPD Logistics Division while the investigation is ongoing. I had personally supervised the investigation conducted by the SPD investigation team, who eventually uncovered several violations of the POP from October 1 to October 6. The result of an honest-to-goodness investigation report dated October 6 was then submitted and endorsed to Acting Regional Director and CRPO on October 7, 2023 at around 3:57 a.m. with the recommendation for the filing of appropriate administrative charges against specific police officers for irregularities and or neglect in relation to the operational and procedural lapses committed during the conduct of operation in question. It is in my honest belief that the operations conducted by the District Special Operations Unit was marred by operational lapses or caused by malice, and this is the reason why I have caused the conduct of an honest, thorough, deliberate, and comprehensive probe over the police operation. All the involved police officers were also relieved from their assignments to pave way to an impartial investigation. True enough, the findings of the SPD investigating team as contained in the investigation report that I endorse supports this contention and ensure that after trial, those who will violated the policies will be penalized accordingly.
Are you done?
That's all,
General?
Mr. Chairman. That's all.
Okay, General Roderick Mariano, thank you so much.
Mr. Chair.
Before we proceed, the chair, are you going to ask already, Congressman Acop?
No, Mr. Chair, I just want to clear up
clarify
matters.
something. Sige, okay, go ahead.
Well,
Before you proceed, the chair would like to recognize Congressman, acknowledge the presence of Congressman Salvador Plato. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Mr. Chair, there were two investigations conducted, one by the NCRPO and one by the Southern Police District. If we listened intently to the presentation of both the presenters, may mga contradiction. Doon sa presentation ng commander ng NCRPO, if you look intently at the chronology of events, nandun na yung planting of evidence. Doon sa investigation na kinonduct ng Southern Police District, wala yung sinasabi na planting of evidence. As a matter of fact, ang sinabi lang ng commander or former commander ng Southern Police District, operational lapses lang yung kanyang sinasabi. And everything is in order. Now, Mr. Chair, ito po ay implementation of a search warrant at 44 people were involved.
The questions of our dear Senior Vice Chair, parang ma-abbreviate na natin ang proceeding to save time. But yung presentation po kasi ng NCRPO Director and the former commander of SPD, masyado pong marami, no? Live po kasi ito, nakikita ng sambayanan. Baka ma-confuse po yung mga nakikinig. Masyado po kasing marami yun. Pwede kasing partly or largely may tama doon sa sinasabi ni General Mariano. Pero dito kay NCRPO, sa investigation po ng tao niya, tama rin, no? Baka hindi na nakuha po ng mga tinatanong natin. So, total, nagsisimula pa lang naman po tayo. That's why earlier I approached you, Mr. Chair, that we asked the NCRPO Director to submit copy of affidavits, no, para makita rin natin kung sino lang talaga yung may involvement dun sa irregularities and up to what level. Of course, gusto natin dito ma-determine yung mga lapses so that we could introduce legislation. Before I end this very short observation, I would like also to interject, Mr. Chair, that for so many times in the previous hearings, nagfe-fail lang naman tayo to observe, especially the PNP, yun sa end bank resolution issued by the Supreme Court, no? Kahit si Sir Acop, ito rin yung mga previous investigation po natin, Sir Acop, yung sa body-worn camera. Huwag na lang natin patayin yung body-worn camera para wala nang question yung mga tao, no? Para yung integrity natin o yung hindi naki-question kung may irregularities ba. Kasi dun sa pagpapasok ko, papatayin nyo bigla yung body-worn camera. Mahirap kapag meron na tayong kanya-kanyang version eh. Di ba? At any rate, Mr. Chair, siguro po, dahil pa, di-determine natin kung meron pa second hearing, mas makikita natin dito kung saan ang inconsistencies. At yung mga tropa natin, lalo na yung mga non-commissioned PNCO natin, Police Non-Commissioned Officers, di man nila alam lahat yan eh. Kasi involved dun sa mga reading team, ilan lang naman yun, tsaka yung mga pumasok. So, hindi rin po nila masasagot ng todo. But I salute General Acop, lalo na itong resolution niya. Kasi lalong mas titibay yung PNP at lalong maniniwala yung sambayanan dito sa ahensya natin. Kami ni General Acop and Colonel Busita and myself, hindi, yung PNP po kasi pamilya natin to dahil dito po kami galing eh. Kaya we really support kapag mayroong ganitong na-introduce na resolutions. With that, Mr. Chair, allow me to reiterate my request from the Chair to require NCRPO to submit copies of affidavits, no? And then again, yung kay General Mariano, that's very lengthy. Malamang di rin na kuha ng mga ibang pulis natin para sa susunod na hearing, kung sino yung talagang dapat nating matanong ng todo, sila po yung matanong. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.